Yes.
Hi everyone, really good to see you again. And here I've got my co-host Jenny. I'm very excited for today's episode of Soulful Women's Journey. And we're going to be talking about self-love versus self-centeredness. So this is a really important topic. And you know, one of the most Googled words in the dictionary is actually love. So brilliant. We are going to keep and Jenny and I could talk for hours on this topic. So we're going to keep it, short, sweet and conclusive so you can get some real golden nuggets. You really can. So I'm going to start, if I may, Jenny, with what is self-love? Why do people, people have a lot of different perceptions as to what this is.
Oh, yes. I love this topic, when we talked. Because, it's just so important. And for many soulful women, spiritual oriented, loving, caring people, they have so much love to give, to take care of everybody. But the thing is, if you don't reserve some energy to yourself, just keep giving, and finally you don't have more, there are many layers underneath that. So when you keep giving, when you cannot give others when you don't have it for yourself. So people, I noticed many people, when they finally give all of their energy, their love, and they don't have any more, they feel resentful. That's because this is their way to love others. And they believe other people will do the same to return it back. But those people are different. They're not us. They're not maybe that sensitive in feelings, energy. And the other big thing is that some people do this from our own perspective and our own experiences we had before in our childhood or so. So when we go out to give, actually underneath, we had one layer of expectation. We do this to try to also get their love, their approval, their recognition, their love back to us. So if there is no balance there, this could easily go to the other side of emotion I just mentioned, resentful or so. So it's different from self-centeredness, just talking about, all selfish, thinking only about you. Many women actually go to the other extreme, other side. So I bet you also have, a lot of experiences when you work with your people, your audience.
Yes, I do, Jenny, and thank you for that. That was a lovely, clear explanation of, the difference between what is self-love, really loving yourself as opposed to gaining these feelings from someone else. And that's what, the way I describe it sometimes is that it's more like a business transaction, because we're doing something for someone else with an expectation to get something back. So that is not actually freely giving love, whether that's love to ourselves or love to someone else. And so, as you said, Jenny, we have to find ways that make us feel good, that fill up, our self-love. I talk of it as if it's a love tank, in respect that when we are born, and if this love tank is not filled, we then do not learn how to fill it. So if our mothers and fathers and caregivers and the experiences that we go through, we don't feel nurtured and loved from birth, we then have nothing to draw on. So what we tend to do is to look outside of ourselves, to fill ourselves up, to make ourselves feel good, because hey, all of us want to feel good, don't we? This is what we all achieving. And so we can learn things like people pleasing. In other words, we do wonderful things for others, but we expect, as you were saying, Jenny, others to return the same, and for whatever reason they don't, that's not their thing, that's not what they do, they don't think they have to, and then we get into that resentment, that frustration, and we actually can feel unlovable. So I look at it that we have like 2 love tanks. So that is the pure love, the real self-love that we have to fill ourselves. No one else can fill up that love tank. And then we have another tank, which is more like a people-pleasing love tank that makes you feel good, but it doesn't last. Things like buying material things, new clothes, fancy car, jewelry, going to fancy places, these are comfort. These make you feel good, right? But the problem is it doesn't last. Anything in that tank doesn't last.
True. So
as adults,
dry out.
Exactly. As adults, if we've not been taught how to love ourselves, because our parents and caregivers, they didn't know how to love themselves, we have to learn it as an adult. Because when that tank is filled up, it's really, really easy. You just keep filling it up. So, self-love to me, and everybody's experience is very different. Love, I believe, is a verb, which means it's a doing word. It's not a thing that you get or gain. It's actually something you do. So what can you do for yourself that's really a kind act that makes you feel good? Is that taking time for yourself to read a book? That is an act of love. Is that speaking to yourself in a kind way? Is that saying no to someone else who wants you to do something and saying yes to you? This is me putting me first. So you start to fill up that love tank. So we need to find out ways that make us feel good, right? Without asking anything from anyone else or requiring anything extra in our lives, because so many of us do that. I've done it for years myself. In fact, my relationship with my mother was incredibly destructive, and I was all the time desperate for her approval, desperate for her praise. I would do anything I could, manipulate, blame, you name it, I did it. And it never came my way. So as soon as I stopped the need, I don't need Mum to be any different than she is right now. I had to learn as a woman in her 40s how to love myself. And you think, seriously? Don't I know this stuff by now? And so as the journey develops, you can give so much more freely because you don't ask anything back from anyone. They're just on their journeys. So
it's so true. We talked, about this before. You with your mother's situation, and I had, situations with my father. He was so restricted, whatever, and also the same. Tried, strived, just performed by, for approval, for recognition, for love. We need. Actually, it's really the deepest need we have. It's love. So we go out from others. So true. And I really love, your description about the love tank. I also want to add something, it's like, the other tank is really, from maybe external stuff, buy things or whatever. But the other tank, it's really to connect to our higher self, to the divine power. So that stream, that divine love, that's what we are talking about, I do believe. So that's the love, the flow of love that could last. So that, when you connect to that part, the spiritual part of you, the higher self, the divine, the universe love, and then you can always come back to have more, because it just keeps flowing. It never stops. It's always there. Sometimes it's just our loved ones, our hurtful feelings, events happened before that got us stuck in some emotional patterns or so, and then it disconnects us really, from this flow of love. So that's I think, you know, what you mentioned, we come to the self, deepest self, higher self, to connect with this part, to fill it up. And then this tank of love we always have. And then when we go out, we can give. We don't need to have the expectation to ask them to give it back to us, because this doesn't come from them. Really comes from ourselves and the divine. So I think we could, you know, have one whole talk about that topic, about spiritually oriented women who are spiritually disconnected, actually, because of the wounds or things happen. But yeah. So self-love, it's different even from just only pure self-care. Self-care is more still, you know, the side of activities, what you do. Self-love is really the being, the state of being. It's, you know, the feeling, the mind. So a lot of subconscious layers.
Absolutely, Jenny. Thank you. And that's, you know, I totally agree. And I think it's when we connect to the universal love that we feel we are okay, we're not alone, you know, with whatever we face in the world. That deep connection that we can tap into is all around us. You know, it's just the fact that we develop programs when we're very small, and these programs, you know, if they're repeated often enough, they become our programs, and they are the biggest blockages to connecting to the true self. We lose our identity, we lose who we are, we don't know who we are, we have no purpose, we cannot connect to the real self. You know, who is the self, what do I want in life, etc. You know, but when we are able to connect, you know, to that spiritual side of us, and that's through meditation, hypnosis, being in nature, just being still, you know, when you can truly go inside yourself without being affected by the physical world that we live in, that's where you really experience that true peace and that calm and those lovely feelings that just wash over you. And the only way I can describe them for me is everything's okay. It's all okay. I'm enough. Everything is enough. There's no harm coming to me. All is well. And I believe that it fit for me, because it's very, very different. You know, that is.
Oh yeah.
That is self-love.
Yes. And we all, I think, you know, we coaches, healers, we went through our journeys to finally come out, you know, to this state, finally experience this. That's why we so want to be here, share this to all of, you know, our audience also, because it's just after the transformation, after you really connect to that state, it's just delicious feeling. And
delicious. I like it. Delicious.
Under this current situation, even though, you know, still a lot of uncertainty, you cannot predict and get things under control, whatever. But just like you said, we just stay at the present moment now. Now is our life. So we still feel like it's okay. It's really okay. Like me and you, we are talking, and some of you are watching right now. We are fully at this present moment. It's fine. So we are sharing, thinking, feeling together, you know, sharing the love. It's you know, good state, positive.
Yeah, and it's only really from the state can you create a different future. So, you know, if you're listening today and you've had a lot of trauma, or you've had big challenges in your life, or perhaps your childhood isn't as you want it, you know, that every single time you think, you are actually going back into your past. And as soon as you create something from your past, so from you thinking and feeling that you're in the past, you will create a similar future. So that is why behavioral patterns, you know, repeat.
Oh, yes. That will be, you know, another topic for us to talk. It's such a deep one. Yeah.
So
but,
we want to,
you know,
it's all about, you know, remaining present. And connecting in what way works for you? Because some people meditation, some people in nature, some people, you know, just being still, just being quiet,
yes, being still,
and getting to know you.
Nature, little animals, I always love. And also for me, it's music.
Beautiful.
Listen to those music, you know.
Music can just take you to another planet, can't it?
Yeah, because I always love singing also. So listening to music. Sometimes I just sing in the house when I do housework or whatever. And but I do like daily, morning and evening, nighttime routine to start my day and to finish my day, bring myself back to that state. Breathing exercise, centering, gratitude, it makes such a huge difference. So I just have the be cautious, be aware of my vibes all the time, and then come back. We all will, you know, drift away, you know, whatever, all of us. But now we can have the tools, exercise to help us to come back. That's the important part.
Yes, we need tools and we need a process, and you know, both of us have got lots of different things, and I really just want to share, you know, one of the most important ones, because it does vibrate on the highest frequency, and we are all little balls of energy, and the higher frequency that we vibrate on, the better we feel. The lower the vibrational frequency that our bodies, our spirits, our emotional states are on, the worse we feel, you know. So gratitude actually vibrates on the highest of all frequencies. And so the more we get into that state that we are enough, we have enough, the more we can really connect to that higher self, that true feeling of love. And that is very different for all of us, you know. As I shared with you how it makes me feel, someone else will feel different, you know, because we're all unique, right?
Yeah,
we're all unique. So so anyone listening today, if you want to start the practice of self-love, I would really start practicing gratitude and having a little journal and writing a few things before you go to sleep at night, because it's those things that will sit on your mind. And so you begin to connect to that higher part of yourself because you're vibrating on that higher frequency. And so you will start to see yourself in a new light.
Oh, yeah.
And it is easier to connect.
Yeah. And only adding one more, you know, when you do that, actually, you can see the difference because your vibrations now shifted to a different state. And then nothing changes outside, right? Externally. But because of your mood, your emotions, feelings change. And the way you look at your life, your situations, problems, or whatever, it just changed. You feel like pressing things are not that pressing anymore, you know, the next moment. So that's really amazing. We do need to do exercise, practice.
Yeah, we do, because we're not brought up to do that. And so it's really taking a step back and not wanting to change those people or that person or those situations, but far more changing your perspective of them. And that is truly an act of self-love. You know, that is really a wonderful gift to yourself in itself, isn't it, right?
Yes.
So what do you suggest people could do right now, Jenny, to really start connecting to that part of themselves, that higher self, so they can really create these feelings, so they stop looking outside and wanting stuff from others? What can they do?
I really think, you know, in most cases, people just feel, you know, busy in their head, right? So keep, you know, listening to a lot of, you know, noises or whatever, consciously or unconsciously. So just be aware of your feeling, of your vibe. And if you feel like, oh, I cannot think, I cannot focus, you know, I'm tired, this and that, you know, just stop. Don't push yourself, keep going. to do whatever I need to do. Yeah, it's the to-do list or everything. When you are under that state, keep pushing, you will feel more anxious, of the, balance or whatever. So just be cautious, be aware of your state. If you feel like, it's kind of out of the balance or so, you just pause. That's what I have been practicing, for quite a while, and really, really helps me. So when you feel that state, instead of keep pushing and going, you pause and understand what are there, what is there, so all these voices or so, tell yourself, it's okay, thoughts come, feelings come, but they are just energies. I can allow them to pass. I don't need to stop there, either judging, thinking, analyzing, or whatever. You're so busy. I allow them to pass. They can go. And I bring myself to the centered place in the middle of my brain. Centered place, I'm grounding myself here. I'm here, reminding myself to be at the present moment. I'm here. I am now. So let go. Empty, your head. All these noises, let them go. And then it's like, okay, I don't hear that many noises, especially also self-judging all the time.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jenny. And just to add to that, it can really, really help to write these thoughts down, because when we write down heavy negative emotions, they are actually out of us. So we want to release, those things. If we can't get them out of our head, we must get them out in a physical way. But that is the first step, really, is to, start on that journey of self-love. And so I really, really, really hope that's been some helpful. It's just a little start. We've only kind of touched the scraping of the iceberg, if you like, but we've only touched the surface there. But as soon as you start your journey of self-love, it does begin to snowball, and it does get better and better and better and easier. Easier really to connect. The more that you meditate, the more that you spend time in nature, the more that you practice a morning routine, a bedtime routine, it's so much easier. In the beginning, it's hard and it's annoying, and you feel that you're not getting anywhere, but you just gotta keep going. Keep going, and it'll come. It'll come.
Improve your self-love, improve your self-worth.
Exactly. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Well, I think that's all we've really got time for today, unless you want to finish on a special note there, Jenny, for any of our listeners.
I think, that's pretty much we can share for now, and we can always come back to share more.
Absolutely. So I hope that's been a great start, and a little bit of a different way of looking at things, looking at self-love. And we always love feedback. So if you've got any comments or any feedback at all, please do let us know. And we will be back soon to welcome you to another episode as we continue on our journey. So thank you so much, Jenny, for joining me. As always, it always just seems to flow. And as I say, Jenny and I could talk forever. But we want to keep these short and sweet so that you can take in the information that you really need to focus on for the moment. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And thank you, Jenny.
Thank you all. Thank you, Louise, again.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye. Yes.